What's up, y'all? This is a quick video, but the point of this video is to show why landscape cloth is a horrible thing to use in pretty much any setting ever. But these are some of the side effects that you'll notice over time when you use landscape cloth. It might be effective originally because it suppresses weeds or whatever, and it just maintains the highlight of the one plant you want to come through. But over time, it becomes very frustrating, very ineffective, and very detrimental to the soil and everything you're trying to do for plant life and ecology and all that jazz. So I'll show you that real quick here. So what we're looking at right here is a median next to this parking lot here in this apartment where I'm living. Fun stuff, urban, rural living currently, hopefully not for a long time. But in here, there's this landscape cloth. This plant is called kinnikinnick. It's a native ground cover here, and it spreads, this low line kind of thing, gets woody. But you put the landscape cloth down, imagine, and originally you probably just wanted to highlight the kinnikinnick. But what happens is the kinnikinnick comes up and it sprawls, and then it's going to want to put more roots down as it moves, and then it crawls and it puts more roots down, it crawls, puts more roots down. And what happens is when you first had it come out in a hole in the landscape cloth, it was fine, but then it spread and it wanted to move, and it didn't have anywhere for its roots to go back down. So now you have all this woody material that's on top of the landscape cloth, looking like these massive trunks of things, and you've just got debris lying all over on top of it because it doesn't have anywhere to decompose into the soil. So it's just like this big weird woody compost pile of debris and brush material and stuff, and it starts to look messy. And I don't have a problem with messy, but in an urban environment, it's going to piss people off because they're like, oh, I don't know what to do, it creates a massive headache. And then the second thing is it's supposed to be weed suppressing, so it's supposed to keep other things from growing. But what happens on top of landscape cloth is that things break down naturally because they're plants, and they break down and then they create soil. And then the mulch breaks down, creates more soil. And then you have things spring up because it becomes a new soil bed, which is great that new things are coming up and it's actually becoming a diverse, garden or whatever. But then it creates more concern because we're like, oh, it's not keeping the weeds. How do we keep the weeds back? And then if you want to take the weeds out, you want to take all the plants out. Trouble is, then you've got this freaking mat all over in the whole entire thing, and then you gotta strip that out. But when you go to strip it out, it's all discombobulated with all these different roots that are in it, and it's a huge mess. So for humans, it's a huge pain. And then for any kind of wildlife, soil, microbes, worms, any kind of insects, they can't penetrate into the soil, they can't come up to the plants, the passageway is blocked. It's basically a soil dam. The same effect that dams have on fish and all sorts of sea creatures, river creatures, wildlife, everything. Same thing goes for these landscape cloths. It's horrible. So what's the alternative? When you plant something, even if it's in a median, wherever it may be, do not use landscape cloth. Plant the right plants so that they will cover the area. Use the right plants so that they're okay with sprawling in a certain spot. They're not going to go too far. You might use shrubs, ground cover. And the reality is, if you have a blocked pathway, such as the edge of a parking lot, it's going to be troublesome because plants naturally want to grow until they reach an edge, until they, there is no real edges in the natural world. I mean, it kind of moves from one type of ecosystem to the next. There's no hard, fast thing. So that's kind of confusing, I guess. But let things plant densely with the plants you want, and accept that they're just going to merge into each other. And because the landscape cloth is going to be useless after a year or two when it starts to grow on top of it, don't use it. Just please don't use it, and you will be much happier over time. All right, thanks for watching. Hope that was educational in some form. Please don't use landscape cloth. It's so frustrating. All right, have a good one.